Today we're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of living in a high-rise on Longboat Key versus a low-rise on Longboat Key and the villa on Longboat Key. We're going to break it all down for you in this video, and there's a lot to know. Hi everybody, I'm Judy Mitchell with Premier Sotheby's International Realty, located right here on Longboat Key where I live and I work. And so I wanted to just break it down for you because a lot of people who are coming into town and they're thinking about buying a condo here in Longboat, they ask me, what's the difference between living in a high-rise or a mid-rise or a villa? So let's talk about that. First of all, let's look at the high-rise. I would say living in a high-rise is probably the most glamorous, type of living you could get here on Longboat Key. We have some beautiful high-rise communities, and generally many of them are overlooking the water, whether it's on the Gulf side or on the bay side. And some high-rises are tall enough where in just one, unit, you can see both the Gulf and the bay. Magnificent. So what possibly could be the drawback of that kind of lifestyle? Okay, here are a couple of cons. Have to go through those, right? So a couple of cons would be, first of all, the price tag. Living in a high-rise is generally more expensive. They're just bigger buildings to run. Generally, they have more amenities. They tend to be more luxurious. They tend to be more expensive. And, that's just the way it goes with the high-rise buildings. And I have to say, having a view is a terrific pro, but frankly, you're going to pay for that. So there's no escaping that. What's another con or negative, if you will, of living in a high-rise? I would say that would be your ability to get anything from your car up into your home. So that means, say, for example, you've gone grocery shopping and you've got your car loaded up with groceries. So when you come home, you're going to have a couple of options. You're either going to park in the parking lot, go into the building, wheel out the cart, load up the cart, wheel it back into the building and up into your unit. Or if you're in a super high rise that is super luxurious, you might be able to just roll right up to the front entrance of the building where the concierge will help you unload all your bags, your packages, your groceries, put them on the cart, hold them for you until you go park your car, come back and take all those belongings up to your unit. It really depends on which type of high rise that you live in, and we really have multiple different kinds. Some with tons of service and a lot of amenities, and some with a little bit less. But most of our high rises are just beautiful and absolutely luxurious. So could a downside be that they're more expensive? Yes, but if you're willing to pay for that kind of service, I guess that could be a bonus. Okay, let's move on to the mid-rise units. Now, a lot of the mid-rise communities, I should say, many of them tend to have open hallways. I actually think that's a plus. You may be looking at 3 or 4 stories, and as you walk down the hallway, instead of being on the interior, you're actually on the exterior of the building, walking to your unit. And that's really nice because so many, particularly of the winter months in Longboat Key, the weather is just absolutely beautiful, 70 degrees and sunny. So the longer you're outside, the better that is. Now, in the hot weather, if you're going to be using that unit in the summer, well, it's going to be really hot walking to your unit. And if you're carrying, bags and groceries, it really could be a con if there's, sort of outside hallways. So that's really something, to consider there. Also, in the summer, we tend to get a lot of rain. And if it's raining, well, again, you may not want to have an outside hallway. So something to think about. Now, not all the mid-rise buildings have the outside hallways, but many of them do. So what's another pro of the mid-rise building? Well, if it is under 3 stories, those buildings do not have to have what we call the milestone inspection. That is a state mandated inspection to make sure that the structure of the building is, the very best that it can be, and the reserve funds are the way they are, etc. And so if you don't have to have those milestone inspections, you would certainly hope those buildings are safe, but you may not have to incur some bigger assessments that might be coming down the pike in the higher rise buildings that are going through the milestone inspection around this time. So that's something to consider. And now another thing to consider, which I think is a benefit of living in a low rise, if for some reason your elevator is out and it's not working for some reason, if you only live on the second floor, then it's only like 2 flights of stairs to go up. Not so bad. Not like living on the 10th or the 12th floor where you have tons of flights to go up, flights of stairs to go up. So living in a mid-rise might be nice in that way. Now, one more benefit of living in a mid-rise is that you're a little closer to the view. So if you move to a mid-rise that has a view, say for example of Sarasota Bay, then if you're only on the second floor, you're really close to looking at the water. And I think that's really kind of nice. Now, you can also get that in a high rise living on, say, the second or third floor. But sometimes, the high rise, you've got that bird's eye view. But sometimes in the lower floors, like in a low rise building, you're closer to the view and you get to see a little bit more detail. So I think that's kind of a benefit. Okay, let's now talk about a villa. I would say the biggest pro of living in a villa is that it's really easy to unpack your car with your belongings, your groceries, all that kind of stuff. Can you see like a theme here? I guess that's something that I feel like it's important, but it's also important to so many people who decide to retire down here to Longboat Key. If you want to be able to park your car really close to your kitchen, many times a villa has a nice carport and you can just easily grab your groceries and bring them right inside to your kitchen. And that seems like a real benefit to so many people. Another benefit might be that you can just simply walk outside whenever you want. You don't have to rely on an elevator to come up and down or take the stairs to get up and down. You can just simply open your sliding door or open your front door and just walk right outside and you're right in nature. And isn't that why you moved to Longboat Key, to be closer to, really our paradise, right? So that I think is a benefit. Now, what would be, I have one more benefit of living in a villa, and that is if you're used to living in a single family home, a villa sometimes comes unattached. Many villas can be attached, of course, but there are many that are freestanding. And they're all generally in, of course, communities, condo communities, but you have all 4 walls to yourself. So it feels a little bit less like condo living, if you will, when you have a villa to yourself. And I think that could be a plus for some people as well. Okay, what are the negatives of living in a villa? I would say you are closer to nature. I know that was one of the pros, but it's true. If you're living in a 1-level villa and you can walk right outside, that means nature is right outside your door. And in Florida, let's face it, we have some nature, right? There are definitely little creatures around the landscaping, and that's something you would want to keep an eye on, of course. So if you're afraid of nature, a villa might not be for you. Okay, another con I would say of living in a villa might be that you're closer to the water. So if for some reason that there was flooding, let's hope not, but if you're living in a villa and it's located close to the water, you might have a higher chance of flooding. So that could be, and damaging your belongings. So that can happen in any place on the island, I suppose, at any time. Although fortunately, we've been so lucky that that really has not been a major problem for us. But it's something certainly to think about the closer you are to being at ground level. So that's it, I would say. I'm trying to think of some other pros and cons. Maybe you have some ideas about the pros and cons of living in a high rise versus a low rise versus a villa. You can let me know. I would love for you to put it in the comments and let me know what you think about your condo living or what you're looking for. If you have any questions, I would say please don't hesitate to give me a call. And especially if you're just starting to explore living in Longboat Key, the best thing to do is sit down with your realtor and let's have a conversation about the various communities. Let's go out and look at them, compare the pros and cons of each one, and then that will help you narrow your search so that when you're ready to buy, you know exactly where you want to be and you can wait for the right unit to come along. It's really a great strategy. So anyway, I hope this video is helpful to you. If it is, give me the thumbs up. I gotta tell you, if you can do that for me, it would be fantastic. YouTube apparently loves it when you give the thumbs up, and certainly I do as well. And feel free to leave any comments. If you need to reach me, my phone number is listed right here underneath the video, but I'll give it to you anyway. It's 941-275-6838. Thanks.